Hello there, my name is Katz, and this is my ISTA 100 portfolio project. Now, I'm going to try and keep the intro short here, but every year I'm excited because I get to come to the University of Arizona. It's a 14-hour drive from San Francisco to Tucson, Arizona, but I'm excited because I know when I get here, I'm going to be able to make a lot of new friends, party a little bit, do some studying, but most importantly, I'm excited because I know I get to take Professor Munde's class. I took his class last year, I absolutely loved it, and I'm back in it this semester, and so far it has been an absolute blast. Now anyways, the semester is coming to an end. We have done a lot of really good and fun work, or I have done a lot of really good and fun work in this class, and for this project, the portfolio project, my goal for it is to act as a almost museum that when you come into or watch this video, I'm able to showcase 5 artifacts that I am proud of that I've done in this class, and that when you as the viewer watch, you're like, hey, this kid actually took something away from this class. So yeah, here are my 5 artifacts that I'm proud of. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, my first artifact from this class was my favorite discussion post I've done hands down this year, and that is discussion post 15. The reason I really liked this discussion post was more specifically questions 5 and 6. In those 2 questions, I had quotes that, number 1, talked about how electronic waste has been increasing for the last, I forget exactly, but electronic waste has been increasing. And the second quote talks about how a lot of people think that we are actually going to be doing a less good job of recycling in the future. Now, both of those questions kind of just really stuck to me, and it's something that when I was putting this portfolio together, I was like, I have to include, because that is a major issue. We need to start doing a better job of taking care of the environment, thinking ahead, and with both, if we are doing a less good job of recycling electronics and we are increasing the amount of electronics that we are putting out, that is a major problem. Now, the more fun part of this assignment, which is something I really liked, was it was during Halloween, and our professor provided a lot of links of like scary-ish things. And one of the links that stuck out to me was one that talked about robotic dogs. And it wasn't just robot dogs, because I think that's kind of cool. It was robot dogs that they are actually attaching weapons to and they want to use in the military. And this was something that kind of just scared me, but also kind of like blew my mind, because we already use these drones that have massive guns on them in war that are extremely destructive. And it kind of just blew my mind that, wow, in the future, we could be fighting wars where you have armies of these robot dogs with guns coming at each other. And yeah, that was just something that blew my mind. I thought this was a very well-rounded discussion post, and I was proud of it. The next artifact I want to talk to you guys about was my discussion post number 20, which was the discussion post that we actually created that the class was supposed to kind of do as homework. And the reason I like this one a lot was I spent a lot of time coming up with, or finding the links that I was going to include for the discussion post that the people looking at mine would actually watch and respond to. And something I've always kind of been passionate about, and something I definitely want to start getting more into, is social media content. And this was a really fun way for me to demonstrate my hard work while also kind of taking some of the knowledge I have about social media and giving it to my classmates so they could actually benefit from it as well. And so this was one of the examples of something I just put a lot of hard work into that I felt like I had to include as one of my artifacts. Now, the third artifact I want to include was from discussion post 12, and it was question 2. Now, this one was not something I wanted to include because it necessarily took a lot of work. It was something I wanted to include because it kind of had like an impact on like my life outside of this class. And it was the video and response I had to the video about how much time we spend using technology. And it blew my mind because it talked about how you're going to sleep for this much time in your life, you're going to eat for this much time in your life, and if on average you spend 3 hours a day on your phone, you literally are taking so much of your life away that you only have like this much actual life left. And it kind of gave me this whole like existential crisis. I ended up talking to my therapist about it, but in the end, like I was able to put screen time restrictions on like my actual phone. And ever since like I've watched that video in this class, my screen time has been way down, and I just feel as like a person so much more like well-rounded and just like happy that I'm not wasting all of that time on like brain rot on my phone. So yeah, that one was, I had to include for that reason. Artifact number 4 was the Microsoft video that we watched about design thinking and design learning. This artifact video really resonated with me because design learning was something that like I wasn't really that familiar with that concept before, and being able to see Microsoft like use design learning in their company at like the highest level was something that just stuck with me a lot and really kind of motivated me to be like, wow, you see this awesome company using this is something that I want to start implementing in my life even more. And so I just liked watching that video. I really liked my discussion and response to that video. Had to include it. Now, the final artifact was my response to the video we watched about luck. Now, this was a lot earlier in the semester, but I always knew luck played some sort of aspect in people's success, but I never really knew the full extent of how much it did play in people's lives and how much it plays in like a successful person's life. And being able to see how like if you were born in like the earlier months of the year, you have that much greater of like a chance of becoming successful in sports just because you're a little bit older than your competition. That was something that really like just changed my whole perspective on like luck and like how I think about it. And it's the reason I had to include this as one of the artifacts was this is going to be one of the things that like 10 years from now, I'm probably going to forget most of the assignments I did in this class, but like that kind of thought about how luck plays like that pivotal role is something that's going to be with me for like the next decade. So had to include it. Now, in conclusion, at the end of the day, I do not know how many people are actually going to watch this video. I hope at least my professor does. But I think that this portfolio does a good job of encapsulating all of the kind of different aspects and things that I took away from this class. There's some things like discussion post 20, which is something that time-wise and work-wise, I spent a lot of time doing. There's other things that time-wise wasn't not as much, but it was a concept that really stuck with me and is going to be with me for the rest of my life. And then there's going to be things like the screen time, where also not a ton of work poured into that, but a lot of work was done outside of class because of something that happened inside the class that is going to like physically change something in my life and is going to make me a better person going forward in my life. So I don't know. I think I took a lot away from this class. I'm very happy with it, and I think for someone who has come into my museum of artifacts, these are the 5 things that I want you guys to see, and I think shaped me the most in this course this semester. So thank you very much, and yeah, have a good one.